Hey, CJ Oaks with oakswriting.com here again. This time I'm gonna show you a little bit about using Google Webmaster tools. Um, and to show you this, I'm going to use my website, criminaljusticelaw.org. I've already gone into it. I've gone to the dashboard. I've clicked on the section, and to find it, all you have to do is type in Webmaster Tools, and it'll bring you to Google. But here's something interesting. If you go to search traffic, this is after you've had your site up for a little while. You can kind of get an idea of where any kind of search engine traffic is coming from. If you click on Search Analytics, all right, that's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. There's not a whole lot here, but right here I'm going to click on Clicks, Impressions, that's click-through rate, and position. All right, we don't see a whole lot of information, but here's what we get. Total clicks, 565 clicks on this website. Total impressions, 14,484. Now, what this means is that people have typed in information related to their searches, and they have looked at the first page, possibly the second, possibly the third. As many pages they've looked at, links to pages on this site have appeared on the pages that they've looked at. Doesn't matter if they've looked at one page or 5 pages. But the average click-through rate, 3.9%. Now I'm going to tell you, that's really very low. This site at one time, I used to run a site that was nearly identical, criminaljusticelaw.us, and my average click-through rate on that site was about 20%. So this tells me that I have some work to do on this site, and I missed the position up here. But that tells me I have some work to do. Now this average position, 23.7, that tells me that on average, since you have 10 search results per page, this tells me that my average position is on page 3. So I've got some things that are on page 1, some that are on page 2. Now, here are some of the queries. Robert Peel's 12 principles. I have 17 clicks out of 50 impressions, 34% click-through rate, very good. It is at position 1.4. Peelian principles. If somebody types in and they're looking for Peelian principles, okay, I show up right at the bottom of the first page, 9.7. My click-through rate is 1.31%. The reason I want to show you this is because, first of all, notice that the closer you are to the top of the first page, typically the better your odds of getting clicked are, but not always. If people type in searching for Robert Peel's 12 principles of policing, notice that my click-through rate is 8.16%, but I'm on average on page 3. Actually, page 4, it's 3.2, so really it's page 4. But I'm at the top of page 4. So really, what you're talking about is anytime you're at the top of a page, you're doing better. Now, how does this help us? Well, in a nutshell, we can go through, we can look at Google Webmaster Tools, and we can look at all the pages. Here's one, legal limitations associated with organized crime. 3 clicks, 6 impressions. I'm on page 8, but I have a 50% click-through rate. So what I can do is I can go to that website, go to the web page, legal limitations associated with organized crime. Now I'm going to click on that website here, and I'm going to look up, let's get out of the sitemap. And I'm only going to do this because I know really where the page is. I could click through and find this. It's a little easier if I just go to the website. What I can do is I can look at that page and find out why is that page not ranking as well as it could. Okay, so we're talking about organized crime, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to click on any page, because what I want to do is I want to go down to a menu that I have on this site. Here we go. Give me just a minute here. Okay, now the menu is down here, pages on this site. And what I can do is I can go down. I'm going to look at, we're talking about organized crime, so right here, legal limitations. There we go. That's the name, legal limitations of combating organized crime. And what this tells me to do is that essentially it's appearing on page 4 of the search engines. So there are some things that I can do to fix this page. Now I can go in and make a few minor changes, a few major changes, doesn't really matter what I do, but I can make some changes to this page to figure out what is maybe dragging it down in the search engines. More than likely it's not getting enough, I haven't keyed in on the subject, or as what some people like to call the keywords, organized crime, legal limitations, organized crime. So that's what I want to key in on throughout the body of this, the legal limitations of organized crime. So I want to key in on that a little bit stronger, maybe drag that up to first or second page, and that will result in more traffic. The only reason I showed you this is to kind of give you an idea of how you can use Google Webmaster Tools to pinpoint areas where you might be able to, do a little bit better in the search results. Like you see, Peel's 12 Principles of Policing shows up at 1.1, so it's right on the second page, 38% click-through rate. If you come down here to Criminal Justice Communication, it's showing up on page 2 at the top of page 2. See 10.3, so 10.3 carries over to the second page, and it's getting a strong click-through rate. So it's doing pretty good. I'm not too worried about that one. Folks, what I'm trying to tell you is use Google Webmaster Tools. Go in, set up an account, get your information put in there. Later video I'll show you how to do that. Most importantly, if you use these tools, you can learn how to tweak individual pages so that they get ranked much better in the search engines. You rank them better in the search engines, you're going to get increased traffic. In general, there are some other things to it. We'll get into that later. But that's just one thing I wanted to tell you a little bit about in this segment. I hope that helps, and of course, oakswriting.com. If you need any help, get in touch with us. We'll be glad to take care of you.